Friends, children of all ages, and cats and kittens, thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Articulate Thoughts, which is a personal blog of mine where I share some thoughts, ideas, experiences, and observations about conscious dance, which is a movement practice that uses dance as a form of moving meditation. And this week's episode is entitled The Last Stylebender. And this comes from a nickname of a UFC fighter that has recently fought, and he's an up and coming star, and it's just yeah, an amazing fighter who's a huge inspiration to me, and um, like something for a lot of people that don't know a lot about me is mixed martial arts is something that uh, is a very dear thing to my heart, or just martial arts in general. I grew up watching Bruce Lee and really adopted a lot of his philosophies, and to watch mixed martial arts rise into a sport and take those philosophies and apply it into modern day context has just been an amazing, inspirational, life changing thing for me. And when I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of, I was in a really bad spot. I was really bad, not right physically, mentally, emotionally. And during that time, mixed martial arts was a really good distraction for me, to something to focus on outside of myself, and to really just draw inspiration from all these fighters that were participating in this sport that demanded so much out of them, just like every last bit of physical, mental, and emotional aspect of themselves, and to put it all into each performance, and to be witnessed in front of millions of people, and just display like this is who they are, and all the work that they've put into is being displayed in that moment. And I just think that there's something very deeply soulful about that action. And I was reading all these magazines, and there was a magazine called Fight Magazine, and they had a featured fighter every single month. And I would buy these magazines, I would cut out the posters, and I had this wall in my bedroom where it was just one entire wall of my bedroom, just all of these UFC fighters and mixed martial arts fighters. And I remember, like, sometimes I would wake up and I just had such a tough time getting out of bed. I'm like, what's the point? I'm just so depressed, and I would look at this wall and just draw inspiration from it. And soon enough, I began training boxing and other things, and that eventually opened up myself to creating a very deep relationship with my body. And then I took that, fused it with my passion for music, and applied it to dance. And I think this is why conscious dance is such a powerful thing in my life right now. But this fighter, the last stylebender, his name is Isreal Adesanya, and he is a Nigerian fighter who is fighting out of New Zealand. And it's it's a very moving thing to follow a fighter's career, and you know listen to all the interviews and watch the performances and just kind of piece it all together. And it's a very intimate relationship, and it's a very emotionally investing relationship for me. And just the emotional high I get when I see a spectacular performance, or just the build up of watching all the interviews, and like listening to all the fighters and all the reviews and all this kind of stuff, and then watching the performance and just have that spectacular result and have it all come together. It's a very interesting, emotionally driven journey. And particularly for this fighter, his alias is the Last Stylebender, which is um, derived from a TV show called Avatar: The Last Airbender. And it just he kind of took that name because as he was growing up, he watched this TV show, and it was a huge inspiration for him. And he just aspired to be that avatar. And it's amazing to see someone draw inspiration from that TV show, because it's something that's very inspiring to me right now. And I've watched it before, and I'm watching it for the second time now, with a really close person to me. And it's become a very integral part of our relationship. And it's very close and dear to my heart, and have it all intertwined together. And on top of that too, the Isreal Adesanya, the MMA fighters, he's also he he's also incorporated dance into his like style of training as well. So um, it was very interesting. It was very powerful for me to observe the fight, because it is a walkout. It's very interesting to see a fighter when they're coming into the cage, and they have their song playing, and they have their walkout, because you could see how they are. You could see like their body movement, their emotions, and like the look on their face and the look in their eyes, and just how they're carrying themselves, and like, you know, they're walking to the cage, and it's a very ceremonial process in my perspective, because it's kind of like walking down an aisle into the altar, so to speak, where everyone's gonna observe your performance, and it's just this moment where this everything, all the hard work is coming together in this single moment. And the night of the last fight of the Last Stylebender, he looks so calm and collected, and just like very cool and calculated, but at the same time he was in his moment, like he was in his his flow. He was like dancing, and he was just so loose, and he was just like, you know, he was having fun, but he was also like cool and calculated. It was the perfect balance. And once the bell rang and the fight began, he could just tell like he was just so composed. He knew exactly what he was doing, and the direction he took into the fight and how he produced the result he did was just spectacular fashion of just someone who's just so strong in their self knowingness, and was able to perform that in front of present that to millions of people. And you know, it's just things like that that inspired me, and to really just continue this work of conscious dance of, you know, there's so many different ways you could draw inspiration into having that knowingness for oneself. And I think conscious dance is a very powerful way to exhibit that. You know, it's a tough thing to start if you're not familiar with it, but once you become more acclimated to it and you do it on a regular basis, it really does have that can have that effect of just, you know, every week or every couple times a month or whatever, devoting 2 hours to just being with yourself and creating a relationship with your body, and exploring that with other people in the same room, in the same investment of time and energy. There's something very, very powerful that cannot exactly be put into words and has to be experienced. But you know, I think there's something really big to this, and if a lot of people could kind of catch on and participate, or, and you know, even that doesn't even have to happen, because you know, there's already a community that's based in this, and you know, I have a lot of, you know, nourishment from that community. So you know, if it grows and it becomes a bigger and better thing, and more people get involved, I think that's an incredible thing. But that doesn't necessarily have to happen for me to really, you know, for me to gain the benefits of being involved in this amazing practice. So anyways, if you, you know, listen to this blog, I encourage you to check out Isreal, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya. He's an amazing fighter. I would encourage you to check out the TV show Avatar: The Last Airbender. And you know, I would encourage you also to check out a conscious dance class, and you know, just play around, and you know, open up your eyes and just allow yourself to be amazed by anything, and just draw inspiration from anything and everything, and just, you know, allow that to empower you and take you to a better place. So that's all I have for you this week, and inshallah, I will see you on the dance floor.